Hey everyone. Just a few months ago, scientists detected something extraordinary on planet K2-18b, two chemicals that on Earth are produced only by living beings, with 99.7% confidence, just 124 light-years away. But here's the question that's going to make you rethink everything. If life can exist that close to us, is it impossible that some intelligence has already visited us? Well, according to the US Congress, not only is it possible, they believe it's been happening for decades, and they're at war with the Pentagon over it. If you love space science and mysteries that challenge our understanding of the universe, hit that like button and subscribe, because today we're breaking down the biggest battle for transparency in modern history. And I guarantee reality is stranger than any science fiction. Folks, for decades talking about UFOs was a guaranteed way to be called crazy. But in 2021, something unprecedented happened. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, one of the most serious and paranoid organizations on the planet, published an official report saying, yes, these objects are real. Yes, they're interfering with our pilots. And no, we don't know what they are. Imagine the meeting where they decided this. Well, folks, I think it's time to admit that those tinfoil hat guys might not have been so crazy after all. In 2022, Congress created ARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, a very technical name for Department of Finding Out What the Hell These Things Flying Around Are. Dr. John Kozlowski, the current director, has already catalogued over 1,600 reports. About 70% were identified as balloons, 16% as other conventional objects. But the rest continues to be a mystery that defies our physics. What makes this paradigm shift so remarkable is the sheer volume of credible witnesses coming forward. We're not talking about random people claiming they saw lights in the sky. We're talking about Navy pilots with top-secret clearances, radar operators with decades of experience, and military personnel whose entire careers depend on accurate threat assessment. These are people trained to identify aircraft, missiles, and atmospheric phenomena, yet they're reporting objects that behave in ways that challenge our understanding of aerodynamics and propulsion. Consider the physics involved here. When these pilots report objects accelerating from 0 to hypersonic speeds instantaneously, we're talking about G-forces that would turn any known material into plasma. When they describe 90-degree turns at Mach 2 with no visible propulsion system, we're looking at maneuvers that would require technology so advanced, it might as well be magic. And yet, these reports aren't coming from science fiction writers. They're coming from the same people we trust to defend our airspace. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Either our most elite military personnel are collectively hallucinating, or we're dealing with technology that operates on principles we don't yet understand. Now we come to the man who changed everything, David Grusch. Intelligence officer for 14 years, Air Force National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. His credentials are as solid as Newtonian physics. And in 2023, he made an allegation that made Washington tremble. There's a decades-long secret program for crash retrieval and reverse engineering of alien craft. A program that spends taxpayer money without the government itself knowing. It's like finding out your neighbor is building a spaceship in their backyard using your credit card. But is this plausible? Look at the track record. Project Sign, Project Grudge, Project Blue Book, all supposedly investigating UFOs but actually debunking evidence. Perfect example, 1966 Ohio. Police chase egg-shaped object for 60 miles across 2 states. Official explanation? Venus. Venus. The problem? Venus was in the wrong part of the sky, and the project's own chief scientist said he wasn't even consulted. It's like explaining a car accident by blaming the moon. What makes Grusch's testimony particularly compelling is the legal framework he used to come forward. He didn't just hold a press conference or write a book. He went through the proper whistleblower channels, filing complaints with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. This isn't someone seeking fame or fortune. This is someone following established legal procedures designed to protect national security while ensuring government accountability. The Inspector General, after investigating Grusch's claims, deemed them credible and urgent, language that carries significant weight in intelligence circles. But Grusch isn't operating in a vacuum. His allegations are supported by a growing network of current and former government officials who claim to have first-hand knowledge of these programs. We're talking about people like Luis Elizondo, former director of the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and Christopher Mellon, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence. These aren't fringe conspiracy theorists. They're establishment figures with impeccable security clearances and decades of service. When people at this level of government start speaking in unison about the same phenomena, it suggests either a coordinated disinformation campaign of unprecedented scope, or something genuinely extraordinary is happening behind classified doors. But wait, what I'm about to show you will completely change how you see this story. In November 2024, the name of a program the government desperately tried to keep secret was revealed. Immaculate Constellation. And the reports from this program are disturbing. F-22 jets, the most advanced war machines on the planet, being boxed in by formations of orbs that maintained perfect formation before expelling our pilots from the area. An orange orb that caused alterations in time perception of the crew. When the object left, the crew snapped out of a trance with profound unease. Apparently, these objects don't just defy our physics, they also mess with our neurology. Impressive multitasking. But the most impressive report, a UAP 200 to 400 meters wide, the size of 4 football fields, detected by infrared satellite. When it realized it was being detected, it dove into the clouds and disappeared, as if it knew it was being watched. Now, as a scientist, I always ask, where's the evidence? Well, in October 2024, this infrared satellite video was released. Massive object, 90-degree direction change. If authentic, it perfectly corroborates the reports. The Immaculate Constellation documents reveal something that should terrify any scientist. These objects appear to demonstrate what we might call adaptive intelligence. They're not just flying around randomly, they're responding to human military activity in sophisticated ways. When our jets approach, they maintain formation. When our satellites detect them, they take evasive action. When our personnel observe them, they sometimes seem to respond with what can only be described as curiosity or even playfulness. This isn't the behavior of natural phenomena or conventional aircraft. This is the behavior of something that's aware, intelligent, and possibly studying us as much as we're trying to study it. Perhaps most disturbing are the reports of physiological effects on military personnel. We're not just talking about psychological trauma from witnessing something unexplained. We're talking about documented cases of radiation exposure, electromagnetic effects on equipment, and neurological symptoms that persist long after encounters. Some personnel have reported missing time. Others describe feeling compelled to approach these objects against their better judgment. If these reports are accurate, we're dealing with technology that can affect human consciousness itself. From a neuroscience perspective, this raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and whether it can be manipulated by external electromagnetic fields or other unknown forces. Here's where things get politically fascinating. Congress passed a law ordering the Pentagon to hand over all files on non-human intelligence. Imagine explaining this to an alien. Sorry, but our government is fighting with itself about whether you exist. But there were efforts to block this law. Logical question: why prevent the delivery of something that supposedly doesn't exist? especially considering the Pentagon has failed all audits for the past 7 years. They literally don't know where they spend their own money. Remember the Chinese spy balloon? Excellent photos, complete tracking recovered in one day, but 3 other objects shot down right after. Blurry photos never recovered, contradictory explanations. More recently, SUV-sized drones over nuclear bases. Government said they were FAA authorized, but the FAA restricted drone flights to combat them. It's like the right hand fighting the left hand, while the brain pretends it doesn't have a body. The institutional resistance to transparency reveals something fascinating about how our government actually works. When Congress, the body that controls the Pentagon's budget, demands information about UAPs and the Pentagon pushes back, we're witnessing a breakdown in the normal chain of civilian oversight of the military. This isn't just about UFOs, it's about whether elected officials actually control the massive security apparatus they're supposed to oversee. The fact that some Pentagon officials seem more loyal to maintaining secrecy than to congressional oversight suggests the existence of what some scholars call a deep state, not in the conspiratorial sense, but in the very real sense of permanent bureaucracies that operate according to their own institutional logic, rather than democratic accountability. What's particularly revealing is the pattern of selective transparency. When it serves national security interests to release information, like footage of Russian jets harassing American drones, the Pentagon can produce high-definition video within hours. But when Congress asks for UAP footage, suddenly everything becomes blurry, classified, or mysteriously lost. This selective competence suggests that the lack of transparency isn't due to bureaucratic incompetence. It's a deliberate policy choice. The question is, what are they protecting? Is it advanced American technology that they don't want adversaries to know about? Is it evidence of non-human technology that they believe would cause social panic? Or is it simply the institutional embarrassment of admitting they don't understand what's happening in their own airspace? Folks, as an astrophysicist, I need to be crystal clear. I'm not saying aliens are here. Science works with evidence, not speculation. But I can say something extraordinary is happening. We have officers with impeccable credentials making consistent allegations. We have institutional resistance to transparency about something that doesn't exist. And we have phenomena that challenge our current understanding. The question isn't, are they aliens? The question is, why is our government hiding information about phenomena that affect our security and our understanding of reality? We're living through a unique moment. The stigma is being broken by official institutions. Serious scientists are investigating. Congress is demanding transparency. Regardless of the truth, adversary technology, unknown natural phenomena, or yes, non-human intelligence, we deserve to know. Science progresses through transparency, and who knows, maybe the answer to "are we alone" is closer than we imagine. After all, in a universe with trillions of galaxies, loneliness would be the real anomaly. So which evidence do you find most convincing? A. Military officer testimonies, B. Immaculate constellation documents, or C. Resistance to transparency? Comment A, B, or C. I want to see what you think. And if you want to see the most disturbing physical evidence ever collected, including materials that supposedly defy our physics, subscribe and hit that notification bell. The next video will explore the more scientific side of this investigation. Remember, the universe is vast, mysterious, and full of surprises. Our journey to understand it is just beginning.